Hey guys, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. All right, listen, I want to go ahead and talk about Kenya Moore hair care, Dennis McKinley, and Porsha Williams. Let me give you guys a quick backstory. So remember, Porsha ended up quitting the Housewives of Atlanta, and she moved on to her own spinoff special called Porsha's Family Matters. Basically, the premise of the show was she wanted to blend her families, right? She was transitioning into this engagement with her fiance, now husband, Simon Guobadia, trying to transition him into the Williams family, along with the fact that she wanted Dennis McKinley, her baby dad's, to feel just as much a part of the Williams family as any of the other family members, right? So they ended up taking a trip to Mexico, right? And it ended in this big old brawl where Porsha was too much worried about a robe and Dennis's girlfriend, and it was a whole hot mess. And I'm like, you know what, Porsha, you started a lot of this, and then you're going to try to make everybody be hush hush about the situation because you don't want to talk about it on national television. But yeah, everybody was going crazy. Porsha Williams had to be held back by her then fiance Simon Guobadia because she was swinging plates in Mexico. Stormy was getting into the fight, wagging on Dennis McKinley. She ended up getting her lace plucked up. And then, of course, Sister Lauren had to, wag on that ass too. I mean, it was the entire Williams clan against that poor man, Dennis McKinley, and it was a whole hot mess, okay? So anyways, that show ended in a disaster, right? Because at the end of the finale, I believe Porsha and Dennis ended up having a sit down, and there was a lot of animosity, anger, and pettiness flying in the air because at this point they decided, okay, we're not going to be a close-knit family. Let's just strictly be co-parents, right? We're just going to strictly be co-parents. You have her on the weekends. I have her during the week. We're going to figure out holidays and special occasions and then let that be that. But it was hard for them to even get on one accord because, I mean, they just finished jumping this man in Mexico, right? So listen, bottom line is that I still feel as though today, now that we are an entire year plus removed from the spinoff, I still feel as though Dennis moves in a way that is extremely petty, but he's able to get away with it because he's kind of like a marketing genius. And we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So, over the past year, I believe he's worked with Marlo Hampton and he's worked with Fallon Pina. Okay, Dennis is really, really petty. Now, one of the reasons why I feel as though Dennis continues to work with some of the ladies from the Housewives of Atlanta is because a lot of the folks know him from the Housewives of Atlanta. So it's smart for him to work with those women because it, sparks up engagement. It sparks conversation, like we're having a conversation right now, thus feeding his pockets, right? Us consumers, we get interested because of the pettiness, because of the drama, because of the familiar faces. Therefore, we buy into what he's selling, right? I.e. the Nyack, i.e., the Crew Lounge, right? And so I believe he's worked with Fallon Pina on multiple occasions with the Nyack cognac and stuff like that. He's a partner in that liquor. And Fallon has even hosted a lot of her birthday parties or events or whatever the hell she was having at the Crew Lounges, which we know, Dennis is the face of that as well, right? The same thing with Marlo Hampton. Marlo Hampton is also partnered up with Nyack for a couple of her events around Atlanta. And so every time he does that, it just seems kind of like, I get it. Like, I get the marketing standpoint of it all, but it also seems kind of petty because why can't you choose somebody like a Drew Sidora? Why can't you choose somebody like a Cynthia Bailey, like people who Porsha Williams is like kind of cool with, or even like a Kim Zolciak, goddammit. You know what I mean? But he's choosing these housewives to work with that he knows that Porsha really doesn't have that great of a relationship with, i.e. Fallon Pina. Okay, y'all say Porsha done stole Fallon Pina's man. Okay, for example, Miss Marlo Hampton, right? And now Kenya Moore hair care. So listen, I was scrolling and trolling, minding my business on Twitter, and I saw that around, I think it was December 21st. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but I'm going to put it up on the screen. I think it was December 21st. Dennis McKinley went onto Twitter and posted this really, really old photo of Kenya Moore on the cover of Hype Hair magazine. It looked like it was from like maybe 2000. It had to be like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere around there. It was a long time ago, all right? I think it had to be like 2012 or something. Ooh, excuse me. Got a burp, got a blast. And I thought it was interesting. He was like, oh my God, look at this beautiful photo. I think it was 2012. Look at this photo from 2012 of Kenya Moore on the cover of Hype Hair magazine. She looks so good. She's this, she's that, she's a third. And I'm like, huh? Like, I didn't even know that Dennis McKinley and Kenya Moore hair care were cool like that. I didn't even know that these two had a relationship like that. I didn't even know that Dennis McKinley thought enough of Kenya Moore hair care to shout her out or, you know, to admire her or give her compliments on social media. I thought the whole thing was really, really weird. So I'm like, this is Dennis being petty again. All Dennis and Kenya think about is Porsha, 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 Marsha, 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 Brady Bunch on that ass. What? Why is you on Twitter shouting out Miss Kenya Moore hair care? It was a very awkward, weird situation. And I'm like, there has to be something more to this, okay? Not only is Dennis McKinley being petty, not only is he using this opportunity to be petty towards Porsha Williams, and you might ask, why would he be petty towards Porsha Williams? Because like I said, the Porsha Family Matters situation, okay? He might still be bitter at the fact that, you know, she didn't nuck if you bucked on Mama Gina. He might still be bitter at the fact that the entire Williams clan jumped on his ass, therefore causing him to snatch that girl's wig off her head, right? He might still be upset that Porsha Williams didn't return his Versace robe that cost him, you know, $1,200 at Neiman's and or Saks. In this economy, I need my designer items, okay? I want to wear my robe every day. I paid a lot of money for my robe and I want to wear it. How much is a Versace robe? I don't even know. I'm just talking shit at this point. But anyways, he might still be holding some animosity and or he might still like Miss Porsha Williams, who has now moved on to Simon Gobadia. So anyways, I say that to say that I felt like a part of this tweet is him being petty. Okay, the same reason why you're working with Marlo Hampton and Fallon Pena. But there has to be something more to this. He's not just shouting out Kenya Moore hair care on the cover of an old magazine, Hype Hair magazine from back in 2012. There has to be something more to this. There has to be another reason. So I started doing some Googling. And I Googled, who owns Hype Hair? Right? So I'm looking and I don't see Dennis McKinley's name. But then I run across Dennis McKinley's LinkedIn page. And it says that he's a partner of Hype Hair. So I'm like, oh, that's his shtick. That's his stick. What he does is Dennis McKinley sits around all day and he tries to find connections between who Porsha doesn't get along with and his businesses, okay? So we know she doesn't get along with Fallon, so let's have Fallon host parties at the crew lounges. We know she doesn't get along with Marlo Hampton, so let's have Marlo Hampton promote the Nyack Cognac. We know she doesn't get along with Kenya Moore hair care. That's been her arch nemesis. That's been her arch nemesis for years at this point. I'm a partner in Hype Hair. She was on the cover of Hype Hair. Let me just give her a shout out real quick. It's strange. It's weird. It's genius, but it's weird and it's petty all at the same time. So y'all got to let me know how y'all feel about that situation. Is Dennis McKinley a little bit obsessed with Porsha Williams? Right? Now, speaking of Porsha Williams, I also wanted to mention that, and this is kind of old too, but Kenya Moore hair care recently went onto the Watch What Happens Live and she was asked about, Porsha Williams and the wedding and stuff like that. And she says that Porsha looked beautiful in her red dress at the wedding, which I thought was kind of shady because Kenya Moore knows that the red dress was like the least cutest dress at the wedding. But listen, different conversation for a different day. She was asked whether she would have shown up if invited. And she was like, yeah, I would have loved to have been invited. I would like some free food and some free cocktails. And, I could have sat around with Alexia and Marisol and talked my shit and had a kiki about this mess of a wedding. Even though I kind of feel like from the pictures, it seemed as though it would have been, if it was filmed, it would have been like the most fabulous housewives wedding of all time. Okay, but she was kind of being petty. She really don't care about Porsha and her wedding. She just, I think, was trying to be shady. So anyway, speaking of Kenya Moore hair care, she's on this new show, Special Forces, Fox 5. the Fox Force 5 Special Forces, the toughest competition in reality television, you know, a step up from Fear Factor and whatnot. And there's kind of like this scandal going on where, now listen, I haven't watched the show. I'm not going to watch the show because I'm not interested in watching the show. But I do want to repeat this because I find it to be super funny. The show features like a lot of like action sequences and like fight scenes, and like there's one scene where what's her face? Kenya is like wrestling with like another person in the military, something like that. And they're saying that her action sequences feature stunt doubles. They're saying that Kenya Moore in these action sequences is fake. Like she's trying to, you know, come across as like, oh, I'm all tough and I'm this and I'm that. But they're saying that Kenya Moore hair care is faking this tough act. And that all of her sequences in the reality TV show is nothing but a stunt double, which I just found to be hilarious. Kenya Moore, Kenya, are you using a stunt double on Special Forces? Fox 5? What is it called? I don't even know what the show is called, but I just found that to be hilarious. Did she use a stunt double during Dancing with the Stars? Can you do that? Child. I'm being petty. But shout out to Kenya Moore hair care and her new rich white boyfriend. Shout out to Porsha Williams. Oh, speaking of Porsha and Kenya, they were seen at Ace's, I think he turned 6, if I'm not mistaken, Ace's 6th birthday party that Candy threw for her son. Kenya was there. Shamia was there, which Shamia is pregnant via surrogate, and she has the same surrogate as Candy, Sharina. I think that's her name. So that was really interesting. So Shamia was there, Porsha was there, Kenya was there, and I had not seen Porsha and Kenya in the same room since the season 13 reunion. Who else was there? Some other folks. Shamari was there, Latoya was there, so it was a whole family affair, and it was really, really cute. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about the entire situation in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day.